quería comenzar con un Michael Salgado, babe.
Are we on?
Yeah, we are. Let's get it on. All right, let's see. Ándale. Todavía estamos tratando de figurar. Estamos figurando todo este pedo, raza, porque ya it gets kind of Wi-Fi and all that. We're in a new studio, so we're still trying to figure out the kinks here, ladies and gentlemen. But we got a very special show going on for you today. Queremos darle las gracias a todo el público que nos acompaña, los apoya on hashtag PVT. And we want to welcome you to hashtag PVT Live on a Monday night, brought to you by the campaign to re-elect Richard Molina for mayor of Edinburg. Órale. Now, early voting starts October 18th through the 29th, so you still got some time. You know, and election day is November 2nd. And it's a very important election for the city of Edinburg. And ladies and gentlemen, we have here in the studio with us this evening, Mayor Richard Molina. What's going on, man?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Rock?
Good, man. Oye, bro, teníamos todo bien preparado.
Yes, sir.
Cuando empezamos, echa toda la... That always happens to me, ¿no, babe?
It always does.
Híjole, chica. No, hombre. So how you been, man? How's it going?
Good, Rock. Good. I want to thank you for having me on your show. Finally, I get to join you here at PVT. We had been talking about this for several months now, but I'm glad we're finally on the show. I'm glad that you're back, recovered, and ready to rock and roll. Yes.
Well, hombre, we had a crazy, wild July, man, and we were like moving into a new house, moving into the studio, and trying to figure out the kinks. And by the time we came back to the studio, it's like, okay, ¿a cuál botón es para cuál botón? Y a cuál que andaba bien trastornado, bro, y todavía un poquito, ¿verdad? Pero
a little bit.
We want to let everybody know and ask everybody to like, share, and subscribe, okay? Make sure to do that. If you're watching the show right now, get the link of the video, put it on your social media, and tell them that we're live right now in color, y a todo color, throughout the world, because that's what YouTube is. It's worldwide. And like I said, we've got Mayor Richard Molina. And, man, so how's it been going for you, man?
Good, Rock, good. You know, I'm dressed up. We just swore in some firefighters that got promoted, some new firefighters. So I just left City Hall probably about 30 minutes ago. That's why I'm dressed up the way I am today, not because I wanted to be super formal. You know, I wanted to wear my Dallas Cowboy jersey, my Dak Prescott jersey, but aquí estoy.
Yeah, yo dije, what should I wear for Molina, man? ¿Sabes qué? Voy a poner la Dallas Cowboy shirt, papá.
Ya sabes.
Sústame one time. Y los Texans andaban bien alegres porque le ganan. The Texans, ladies and gentlemen, are the greatest preseason team in NFL history. Es lo que estoy diciendo, ¿entiendes? Sacan la dada en preseason, pero los Cowboys, pues ya sabes, tenemos que 5 anillos y a legendary status y todo eso, ¿entiendes? Y pues yo soy Dallas Cowboy for life, ladies and gentlemen, y pues I'm sorry, pero hey, take that preseason win, Texans, y pues, celebren todo lo que quieran, okay? Y pues Dallas Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl. What do you think? The Dallas Cowboys going to do it?
I think it's their year. I think it's they're paying like it's their year. Dak making all that money guaranteed. It better be our year.
Yeah. No, man. Have you been a Dallas Cowboy fan since you were a kid?
Since I was a kid, Rock. Since I was a kid, and Dallas Cowboys for life. You know, you got to take the good with the bad. This is where the real fans stick around. If you ask me, you know, there's all these bandwagon fans that jumped in 92, 93, 95. And when Tony Romo was there and they had home field advantage throughout the playoffs, that was when the bandwagon fans came back. And they left us because we didn't make the playoffs last year. But this is where the true Blues stick around.
Fíjate que yo me recuerdo mi jefe. My dad would take me to Sears in Harlingen. Y estaba Calvin Hill signing autographs. También Preston Pearson. Also Bob Hayes. I remember as a kid, llegamos ahí al Sears. And it's now the Johnny's True Value ahí in Harlingen. And they would come to Sears because they had to deal with Sears to do autographs and stuff like that. And we got there nomás, fuimos de Chiripá, ¿entiendes? All of a sudden. And what's with all the people with footballs and stuff? And no, man, Bob Hayes is here. You know, the fastest man, Bullet Bob Hayes is here.
Bob Hayes, 22.
So I was like, damn, Dad, buy me a football so he can sign it. No, dile que firme tu popcorn. El diamante. Dile que firme tu popcorn. So ahí me estoy metiendo yo. Dice, métete ahí. So I'm in there and I'm in there. And I get to Bob Hayes and I give him my popcorn. He goes, oh, thank you. Y comienza a comerse mi pinche popcorn el vato. Dije, no, sign it. Oh, okay, sign my popcorn. Chingao. Sí, por lo que me ponía mi jefe el diamante. No, hombre, cállate la boca. Shut up. So, you were born and raised here in Edinburg, Dad?
Born and raised in Edinburg, Texas, Rock.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 43 years old. I just turned 43 in July.
43 years old.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
¿Y fuiste a la escuela aquí en Edinburg?
Yes, Edinburg North. As a matter of fact, city's been around for a little over 100 years, and I'm the first mayor in the history of the city to come from the brand new high school, which is Edinburg North, which opened in 1991.
Oh, so that's a good trivia right there.
Yeah, everybody else has been a Bobcat. So, you know, we have 4 high schools now in the future. We're going to eventually have some mayors that will come out of Robert Vela High School, and there'll be eventually mayors come out of Economides High School.
Yeah. Oh, that is amazing, man. ¿Cómo eras en la escuela tú, bro? Were you a real studious guy? Were you, A, B, honor roll? Were you C, A, B? I mean, were you in sports? Were you in JROTC?
I think I was at all of the above, but I used to make fun of the ROTC guys when I was in high school with the high water pants and all that stuff. But, you know, I eventually joined the military after, you know, they had tried to recruit me during high school, but it wasn't for me in the middle of high school, but right after high school, I ended up joining.
And so when you got into the military, what was the first thing you did? I mean, where did they send you? What happened?
They sent me, I signed up to be an infantryman. So they, you know, just a regular grunt. I ended up being a 11 Mike, and then I got transferred to be an 11 Bravo. So I was doing both. So I went and did my basic in Fort Benning, Georgia. Then I got stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, which is right at about Killeen area. They did send me over to Fort Polk, Louisiana. I was also in Bosnia during the mid-90s. It was Operation Joint Forge, where we got deployed out of Fort Hood, Texas. I was there for 8 months. Ended up coming back, and where I came back home, my dad had been on me to come back home. You know, he became very spiritual during my absence. You know, he used to walk over at the San Juan Shrine and lighting up candles. And I don't know if you walk into the San Juan Shrine and you see all of those soldiers, men and women that they have where they light candles. I think my dad had one of my pictures up there, and he was consistently going to church when he wasn't a big believer in church. So he became very spiritual. And every time we would communicate, because back then there was no cell phones, when I had a calling card and I would call home, he used to beg me, ya mijo, ya vente. Sí. So right when I was in the process of considering re-enlisting and doing another 3 or 4 years, I decided to come back home because of my dad, because he was very, very influential and wanting me to come back and given the opportunity to come back to the Valley. And he said, you know, it's a very dangerous position being in the military. You can deploy, and later on, you know, was the Iraqi war and the Afghanistan, the deployments that took place. So it was right about that time that I had 99. Yeah. So that stuff got real hot and heated about 2 or 3 years later.
So were you serving when 9/11 happened and stuff?
No. I was right when I ended up leaving the military. I got hired to work as a jailer at the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So right off of there, probably within 2 months, I worked at the Old County Jail here on South Klausner.
See.
I think the new jail is here out on El Cibolo, but I was working here at the jail, and I noticed there was a lot of jailers that were studying this manual, and I said, what are you guys studying there? They said, well, we're studying to be policemen because we don't want to stay in the jail. So I grabbed one of those books and I started reading it, and I said, you know what, I want to be a policeman too. So I ended up applying with the city of Edinburg, and I got hired like a couple of months later. They paid for my police academy, everything, so they sent me to Harlingen. And that's where I became a certified police officer, and I worked with Edinburg PD for 11 years.
Yeah. And are you the only child, or do you have brothers and sisters?
I'm the baby of 6.
Oh, sí.
I'm the baby of 6,
oh,
yes.
Yeah, fíjate.
The youngest of 6.
Por razón tu papá eres el coyotito. Digo, no, mijo, vente para la casa.
Ya vente.
Tú eres el que te vas a quedar aquí conmigo toda la vida.
Absolutely.
¿Qué pasó ahí?
Yes.
So how was your experience in the military, man? I mean, how was it? What were your experiences on there? What did you witness? What did you learn from the military, man?
You know, you learn the different cultures of people that are out there. You know, you have predominantly Hispanics down here in the Valley. and you know, we're probably 92% Hispanic. When you get there, you know, the numbers change. You know, there's different cultures that are there. You get to learn from different people of different nationalities, Asians, blacks, there's Koreans, there's a lot of people in the military, you know, white Anglos, and just what really it's the camaraderie that you learn regardless of race, of color, of religion. You know, it's like the United States. It's just a big mixing bowl, and I think that I learned so much being in the military. I learned about different cultures. I was able to travel and go to some of these hometowns of other soldiers during our leave. So I learned a lot. So you kind of get out of the valley mentality, and then, of course, you learn discipline. You know, that's something that I've carried over to this day, is being disciplined, getting up early in the morning, making sure that I work out, making sure that you always get a good run in or a good cardio.
I noticed that from your first campaign, bro. You were everywhere, dude.
Yes, yes.
I mean, it's like I was doing a thing with my band over there in McAllen, and you showed up, and then you were out there hanging out with us, and then you were out here. Like, there was nowhere that you would turn that you wouldn't see Richard Molina. You were determined to become mayor. Absolutely.
Yes, we worked it hard, just like we're working right now, Rock. You know, I like the fact that there are opponents that are challenging me. It helps me to continue to work harder and to let people know that I want to stay 4 more years. And after that, you know, I'm not going to run again. So I always tell people, this is the last 4 years that you're going to get out of me. And I did pass term limits through the voters. So that was the 2 things that I ran on. I ran on term limits, 2 4-year terms, and I got that straight out of the presidency. Just like the president, he can't run more than 2 4-year terms. So after 8 years, pa fuera. Look for more leadership.
Yeah.
Look for different leadership. Look for new ideas, new people coming in. Another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be more accessible to the public. So what I did is, right after I won my election, what I would do is I would have an event that we would host with the city. It would be coffee with the mayor, pizza with the mayor, tacos with the mayor, trying to get the public to come in and give us input on ideas, complaints, just speaking to us in general, because one of the things that was my pet peeve is I used to watch other people run for office, and I would notice that when they won their election, they would disappear, and you wouldn't see them until 4 years later. So that used to burn me up. So I said, if I ever get elected, I'm going to make myself available to the people. So what we've done is we've made ourselves more accessible. We've made ourselves more open to the public, and that's something that I pride myself in doing. And the term limits. So if a new mayor ever came in, or a new council wanted to change that, they would have to go to the voters, and there would have to be an election for them to change those term limits.
Which is the way it should be.
Absolutely.
I mean, so many things are done by, you know, people in office without the consent of any of the constituents, you know, if they want to do it or not. They just do it, you know. And so I think it's very awesome that that you do that. But also, I was going to ask you about law enforcement as well. Like, when you were in the law enforcement, you started out as a jailer here. How was your experience from becoming a jailer and into being a police officer? You know, being in the jail, you learn a lot. That's where you get the inmates that come in. You learn so much about the culture of the inmates. You know, you have your temporary people that are in and out. They're just going to be there for a little bit. And then you have your people in the jail that they know they're going to be there for a while, and they're waiting sentencing. So, you know, what I think is that you work in the jail first, and then you learn it from there, and then you get back on the street. So the conversion was pretty easy, because it's still a paramilitary type structure, from the military to the jail, and then back over to the police department. So, but there's so many changes happening with the police departments today. They want more accessibility to the public. They have a lot of neighborhood watches. They have community policing, so that they ask the police to be more active with the community, and not just be first resort where they go and arrest somebody. They want the police pushing more education. They want them more in the classroom teaching the youth. They want them more on the community involvement. And I think that's where it needs to be. And I think that's some of the things that have happened up north has been the us against them mentality. Yeah. I mean, they got that defund the police stuff, and you know, a lot of people. I mean, you know, we support, you know, law enforcement because they protect people, and whenever anything happens or you feel like you're in trouble, who do you call? You know, they use the word reimagining, and I think reimagining is good without saying defunding, because defunding sounds bad, but but you know, like you said, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. And I mean, we've been having these national night outs here in Edinburg, and they become pretty big get-togethers with music and food, and the whole community's involved and everything like that, ¿verdad?
Yes, we just had one. Speaking of National Night Out, we had the Spasmatics that played at the Edinburg Municipal Park. We had about 4,000 to 5,000 people show up. It was amazing. I was out there with the police officers with the city of Edinburg, and they were passing out free backpacks right before the kids went back to school. They were passing out. They had I want to thank Academy. They came through. They donated about 41 bikes, and we did another 41 bikes. So we did about 82 bikes of kids that had come from all over to receive those bikes. They had been waiting in line for a while, but it wasn't just giving them a bike. They were riding around with our police officers, and they were doing a little obstacle course. So they were teaching them about safety on those bikes before they handed them out. So I thought that was very good. I think the community kind of gelled together, to be a part of that event. And at the end of the day, they just didn't get a bike. They learned the safety from the officers on how to operate, on how to turn your hand signals right and left. And also they left out there with a helmet. So that was big.
Yeah. And, of course, you got a family. We just we attended one time an event for your daughter who turned Sweet 16. You hired me to MC the event.
Yes.
And I mean, how many kids you got? I mean,
I have 5 kids. I have my oldest daughter's Taylor.
Uh-huh.
I have my daughter Vanessa, which is where you did the Sweet 16.
Uh-huh.
I got Richard Jr. He just started high school last week at Edinburg North. I have twins, Kelly and Diamond, and they attend South Middle School here in Edinburg. So I have 4 girls and 1 boy.
Wow.
Wow.
4 girls and 1 boy.
Yes.
Beautiful family.
Y no tienen nada de canas, bro. Está bueno el Just for Men, ¿o qué? Está bruto. Oh, man. That's awesome, man. And, something that's interesting is, like, this term that you did as mayor was basically your rookie year, your rookie term, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And what did you learn from being mayor of Edinburg, man? I mean,
well, the mayor gets blamed for everything. That's what you learn. When something goes right, it's not the mayor. When something goes wrong, it's the mayor's fault.
Pues es lo que pasa con el presidente también y todo, bro.
Yes, that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, have you been able to handle stuff like that? I mean, because like we would go to different events, and you're all like here in Edinburg because I work with radio and stuff, so they send us to different events at the park and stuff like that. And you're all, or my wife, we had some friends that were playing basketball, right? Little boys that were playing, and they were friends. They were kids from friends of my wife. And we get there, and I'd never expect to see the mayor there, dude. You know what I mean? Because I've been to many of those, and I never see the mayor of the city. And you were there, and I was like, well, hey, but Richard, ¿dónde queda? I mean, he's everywhere. And that is something that that I can say that this guy, he's attends a lot of things that most mayors don't. And, and that was pretty interesting for me. That was like a big eye-opener for me when I saw that, man. So,
well, that's what I ran on, Rock. I ran on being accessible to the public and being available to the public. It takes a lot of time to do it right. If you're going to do something, I believe you got to do it right. Just like you, we recognize you at the city council meeting in Edinburg for the job that you've done for our kids here in the community. And I know you do this other places, but from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you, Rock, for what you've done for our kids at the housing authority. The things that you do and the Easter egg hunt and the gifts, it goes a long way. It's very, very impactful. I don't think we see it, but you on the surface, because you're doing the work, you're doing the service. But what I see you do is it's not just about Whiskey D or about these shows. You have that same desire to serve, Rock, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Seeing you and your wife out there, it means a lot. It's not just, hey, you want to hire me for a gig, yes or no? No, you're out there on your own time, on your own dime, making stuff happen, and that's what inspires people, and that's why I thought it was very important that we recognize your efforts, because you didn't start doing this yesterday. You've been doing it for years and years and years, and really that means a lot. To me, it really hits home, because I know I put some hours in, and then I see what you do with this show and everything, and then you have the time to go out there and help the kids in the community. Kudos to you, Rock. Thank you for what you do.
You know, and it's interesting because last year with COVID, I mean, we couldn't perform anywhere. And that was the way we were raising toys for the housing authority here in Edinburg, is by creating a concert. I always put a concert, get some sponsors together. I was able to pay the bands, put the PA system, and we do it at a certain venue. And all the toys we received, we'd go and bring them to the housing authority. They would, you know, pick them out by age and gender and all that stuff. And then last year happened, and we were like, what are we going to do? And, you know, it's just like, it was a blessing to be able to have and start hashtag PBT, because our fans, they donated a lot of money to buy toys, man. And we went to Walmart and all different other toy areas and bought a bunch of toys, and we were able to get it done. That's without awesome. The band. Now, this year, we're hoping to do the show and hashtag PBT. So maybe we can really not only spread the toys amongst the housing authority, but also some other areas too. Maybe a family that needs, you know, has kids and stuff like that, because COVID's been tough on a lot of people.
That's right. That's right.
A lot of people have been losing their job or been losing hours and stuff like that. How's COVID affected Edinburg, man?
You know, it's changed the way we do business. But one of the things that I do want to promote is that we did receive federal funding to help the small businesses. So what we did with COVID funding, we were able to help out small businesses. We did about 476 businesses where we handed out a check for $2,000 for each business. And the requirements for them was there were people that had a business in Edinburg. If they employed less than 50 people, if they made an income of less than $500,000, which was a lot of businesses, then they would do a $2,000 check. The next round that we're doing next month is going to be a $100 gift card for 8,000 citizens that have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, and which, you know, there's a lot of people that qualify that have lost jobs, they've got their hours cut. So the city of Edinburg is going to give them a $100 Spark card.
Wow.
That $100 could be spent at the same 476 businesses that we were able to help with the $2,000 grant. So what I like is we did this last year, and we were the only city to have a spike in sales tax when all the other cities had a decline. So what we were doing is we were using the money to be spent in the city, because it can only be spent in Edinburg. So you can't use it in McAllen, Far, Mission. It has to be at the businesses that are on there. So we had a big spike in our sales tax. And what ended up happening is after we stopped the program, the spike in sales tax continued, because what it did is it got people familiar with other restaurants that they hadn't been at, other nail salons, other barbershops. So it got recognition for places that you probably wouldn't usually go shop. And I think the thing just blew up. So we're going to run the program again. So if you can help us promote this, $100 gift cards to residents of Edinburgh that have been impacted by COVID-19. It's going to be a big hit, and it's free money that's due to the people.
Oh, yeah. What do they have to do to get it? I mean,
all they have to do is apply online. Okay. We have a link. There's a Spark link. You're just going to fill out some information, and you'll have your gift card ready in a couple of weeks.
Orale. That's awesome. A lot of people, man, struggling with the COVID, and it's still not gone. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on right now. You got that Delta variant and all that. People getting vaccinated. There's vaccination drives and all that. But you know, speaking of, you know, the tax revenue from, you know, the city and stuff like that, Edinburgh, I see a lot of mom and pop stores, and now you've got the courthouse, dude. I mean, what do you think the courthouse is going to bring to Edinburgh, man?
You know, the courthouse is going to be a place that makes Edinburgh more recognizable. But what the city has done to help the courthouse is we have a parking garage, a partnership that we just did with the county. This was last Tuesday. We voted on it. So right north of the courthouse, we're going to be doing a multi-level parking garage. So finally, you know, this issues that you see, especially you that with the parking here, obviously that's a problem here during daytime hours.
Oh, yeah.
So to have this parking garage is going to be big, because people are going to have a place where they can park. It's going to alleviate a lot of the congestion here in the downtown area. The first floor is not going to be parking. The first floor is going to be retail. So you're going to have a bunch of stores on the first floor like you see up in Austin, Houston, Dallas. So what we're looking to drive revenue from those stores have people that can, drive the employment rate up as well. So we're looking at having maybe a Starbucks there, maybe a place of dry cleaning, maybe a restaurant. So all of that synergy is going to take place.
I did not know that.
And this was just approved on Tuesday. So this is going to be big, speaking of the courthouse.
Wow.
And then just between that parking garage and City Hall, so right there on McIntyre, we're doing an amphitheater right in the center for concerts, outdoor concerts, family events. And Edinburgh just got awarded an award called the Pet Friendly City. We were recognized for having events and having people plug in with their pet. There's a lot of dog lovers here, by the way, and that's why we did 4 or 5. We've done 4 or 5 dog parks to accommodate the people with dogs.
We got 3.
Absolutely. There you go. So
they're like family members, bro.
Exactly.
Cállate la boca, shut up. Le echan más caso a los perros que a mí, Dad, en veces.
Exactly. That's how it is, yes. I'm like that with my kids.
Le ponen más caso a los perros que el pobre acá, carnal.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So we have that amphitheater that's going to go.
Whereabouts is that going to be?
That's between City Hall and the parking garage.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a Sam Houston Elementary building that's been there. It's an old building.
It's behind City Hall.
That's the one we're going to renovate. It's going to be a arts, cultural, and event center. So it's going to be about 48,000 square feet. You can host events there as well. The arts are big. Culture is big here. There's a bunch of gurus that come with art, paintings, and they sell. So it's going to be a multi-purpose facility, and it's also going to be a branch of City Hall. So there'll be some city employees in there as well as we're growing. We're already above 1,000 employees working for the city. So we're needing some more room for them too. They'll also be housed out of there.
Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mayor of Edinburg, Texas, Richard Molina, and this show is brought to you by the campaign to re-elect Richard Molina for Mayor of Edinburg, Texas. Another thing about Edinburg that a lot of people that aren't from the Rio Grande Valley might not know is that it's a college town. We've got the UTRGV, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and used to be Pan Am back in the day. University UTPA, University of Texas Pan American, and that has evolved into a very beautiful campus and all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, they have an event called HESTEC once a year, and then during the HESTEC, the fire department has an event also, and we've been able to perform at that. That's a lot of great stuff too, and the school just brings so many different people from all over the nation and the world to Edinburg, Texas, dude, right?
Yes, that university is booming. It's recognized throughout the state as being one of the top in the state. So parents, if you're looking to send your kids anywhere, take a look at UTRGV. This place is blowing up, not to mention it is now a medical school. You have to remember that if you wanted to create a doctor from the Valley, he or she was going to have to educate themselves in Houston and San Antonio. They were going to have to go up to Dallas. No more. They can do it here in the city of Edinburgh. Years 1 and 2 are here. Years 3 and 4 are over in Harlingen. So since they merged, UT Pan Am with UT Brownsville, it is blown up. So this is very, very big. I believe that is going to be the anchor and for the explosion here in the RGV.
Yeah. And then another area of the Edinburgh is north of Flying J, north of Monte Cristo. Since we're moved toward the northern area of it, we're wanting some Wi-Fi over there.
Help, Mayor.
No tenemos Wi-Fi. Yes. Puro pinche hotspot, vato. So dije, maybe if this area gets developed a lot faster, we'll maybe get some Wi-Fi out in this area as well. So what's the lowdown on all that going on? Because I know there's a lot of houses and it looks very beautiful, lots of space, and I had heard there was going to be theaters and all kinds of stuff going on over there. What's up with that?
I think we're a couple of years away from that on the north side to have that movement, but I think there's going to be a couple of anchors, maybe an H-E-B or Walmart to go out there eventually. And I think once we get those anchors, I think the rest will come. But we're probably a few years away from that. But speaking of Wi-Fi, it's definitely something that we need to work on. A lot of the other cities are becoming more proactive when it comes to Wi-Fi. We were hoping to do something more valley-wide where we teamed up with the other cities to have the wiring and everything stays pretty uniform throughout the RGV, and there's some cost savings by doing it together. But I think some of the other cities already jumped the gun and started their own projects, so eventually we're going to have to do the same.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the mayor of Edinburg. No, it's good. We're having a little bit of issues. There's some people.
We're having a little bit of
What
buffering.
are they saying in the comments there,
Well,
babe?
that it's just buffering a little bit. I'm okay on the switcher here, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just be.
Well, it seems like on the television over there, it's
yeah,
it's
but
buffering.
remember, we're all connected, so
Yeah.
it might just be a little bit.
Okay, because we get to watch the comments there on the television, and I was seeing that we need to get some heavy duty Wi-Fi in this building for us.
Yes.
And you know, when we were doing it out of our home, we had like turbo. You know what I mean?
We did. We had
and
double.
and there were times when we had a few issues with it, but you know, we're having some issues here.
I think we're okay. I think we're okay.
Are we all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're buffering just a little bit.
Because I want, you know, everybody to hear what the mayor is saying about Edinburg, because they're all, you know, they all want to know what's going on. But that's what we're looking for. Wi-Fi, man, is what we need up there north of Edinburg, Mayor.
Help.
Absolutely.
Ya le estoy poniendo foil paper a la computer, carnal, y le estoy poniendo una papa a la antena y la chingada. Órale. Le estoy hablando Elon Musk. Hey, man, on Twitter, I'm messaging him, man. Hey, man, throw me some satellite over here, dog. What's up? So, y los Dallas Cowboys, Dad. You're a Dallas Cowboy fan, and, you know, who do you think is the greatest Dallas Cowboys player in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, bro?
Wow, that's a question. That's the hardest question you've thrown at me all day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Break it down to 3 and then pick 1, or 5 and pick 1, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm from the 90s era. I saw them play, so that doesn't give any justice to the ones that played in the 70s and the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously when you talk about the triplets, you talk about Aikman, Irvin, and Smith. 3 rings.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard to beat. They almost had 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? That's when Jimmy Johnson ended up leaving. We ended up with Barry Switzer.
Yeah.
So Aikman, Irvin, and Smith are the 3. You know, when you talk about probably overall value to the Dallas Cowboys, and because of the record that he holds for being the all-time leading rusher of all time, I'd have to go with Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith would have to be the guy that I would pick as the all-time Dallas Cowboy in my book.
Yeah, man. Amazing player. Lots of touchdowns. And I think he had like the record for 1 year, having touchdowns for 1 year. Yes. Ahora, Michael Salgado, he's like, eres bien camarada con el Michael, no te?
Yes, Michael, I hope you're listening to this, Michael, but we need you back here in the RGB, man. It's been a while since you played. I think he was in Corpus the other day, but he hasn't really touched down here in the Valley in about a year. And, you know, COVID slowed down the industry for a lot of our musicians. You know, they're the ones that felt it the most because they're entertainers and they depend on crowds and they depend on gigs to feed their families. But, you know, hopefully we get Michael Salgado here very, very soon. If not, we're going to have to bring him to one of my political gigs. So I hope you're listening, Michael. Get ready.
Speaking of political gigs, you're going to kick off your campaign on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And everybody's invited. You can go by.
The entire public is invited. Whether you love Richard Molina, you hate Richard Molina, or you aspire to run for mayor in the future, you want to find out how to do it, join us this Thursday. We're going to be at the Monster Car Wash on West University. It's right by the IHOP in front of Lowe's. It's going to start at 6 p.m., and we're going to have a special MC, Mr. RocknRollJames.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be emceeing the place, the show. That's happening Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Monster Car Wash, which I am no stranger to. I've done some of the toy drives there.
Absolutely.
With the bands, and I've also performed there with my band. So we're looking forward to it. It's happening on Thursday. Make sure to go out there, and it's free for the public, right?
Yes, free for the public.
Yeah. So, you know, you're a military guy. What's your take on this Afghanistan stuff, bro? The way it just, like, dissolved in, like, a day or two.
You know what, Rock? I don't know what to think anymore when it comes to social media and the fake news that's out there. We still don't know the truth to this day. You know, you hear different sides of the story about people running on the plane, that they landed in Houston. There's so many stories that I've heard that it was a hoax, that it wasn't for real. But at the end of the day, I mean, I know there was a lot of people criticizing. Speaking of getting criticized, they were criticizing our president, just like the way if you're the man in charge, they're always going to zero in on you and be headhunters. But, I don't really have much to say on it other than the fact that, it's a situation that they're going to have to deal with on the federal level. But then who knows? Maybe it'll end up in our local level.
I know. And speaking of ending up in our local level, we have the border crisis.
Yes.
And the border crisis has affected McAllen in a big way, where they've had to facilitate,
correct,
the immigrants that have COVID, and they weren't able to do it in McAllen, so they ended up moving it to Ansalduas Park.
Right.
And now that park is packed with COVID positive immigrants. And then Laredo, the mayor of Laredo, came out and said that they don't have the resources McAllen has to be able to test the immigrants, so they're not testing them.
Wow.
They're letting them go. So to me, I feel like then the data would be skewed, right? Because they don't know, if they're not testing them in Laredo and they're testing them here, well, the data we get is just from whatever's in Ansalduas Park. But the border is a huge, huge area. It's from San Diego all the way down to, Brownsville, Texas.
Right.
So it's just it's a big mess, bro. And has it affected Edinburg in any way? Have you had to pull out any resources to help anybody out or any of the immigrants out from the city or the how has it affected Edinburg?
I'm going to knock on wood. The fact that we demographically sit where we sit north, we don't have a bridge. There's these other cities that they have bridges, and they drive a lot of revenue into those cities. So you have McAllen that owns a bridge. You have Farr owns a bridge. You have Mission that owns a bridge. They drive a lot of revenue, but now there's a flip side of that because of where they're at. Now they're having to deal with this situation. But I can tell you here in Edinburg, it hasn't come into Edinburg yet. And like I said, I'm going to knock on wood. But if we ever have to deal with that situation, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But with that being said, I know that there was an order signed by the McAllen mayor, a declaration of disaster, because they have to do that in order to recoup funds for the money that they're spending. So hopefully at the end of the day, the federal government comes through and reimburses them for their expenses.
Man, I think the federal government has their hands full right now.
Yes, they do.
With Afghanistan, the border crisis, COVID, and we have Biden, running the show, but it's like, oh man, I don't know. But anyway, what's your vision for Edinburg in the next term if you're reelected, man?
We have $20 million that we've secured from the state to fix the drainage from the courthouse all the way east of the expressway. So one of the things that I would like to see is I'd like to see that project finish. So pretty much from the courthouse all the way east, that roadway has a 12-inch line. When you think about that, put that in decades ago, it's just 12 inches big. That is going to be replaced by a 72-inch line, so that the water, when it rains, specifically in this area here, that water flows all the way to a drainage canal that's east of the expressway. That's one of the things I want to see done because the money's already there. I'd like to see it, that project complete. Also, we're looking at renovating the east side of Edinburg over here on 107 to make it look like the west side. The way it's more modern, more up to date. Over here, it seems a little bit
old school.
Yes.
Mom and pops.
Exactly. That's what we'd like to do. We'd like to do some upgrades there to sidewalks, drainage, put some new lighting.
I see some stuff going on where the Melrose Plaza is right there. There's some stuff going on there as well.
Yes, they're renovating the parking lot there, the business owners. That's a private job. But the fact that you have people investing money is a good thing. They're seeing that there's growth coming, that it's worth investing more money in their businesses because they see what's happening here in Edinburgh, and there's a lot of growth. But I want to see that project. I'd like to see the parking garage started and finished. I'd like to see the cultural arts building started and finished. I'd like to see the amphitheater started and finished. And we want to focus on the drainage on different parts of Edinburgh. So we do have some bond money, about $20 million that we're going to spend to make detention ponds on the northeast side, the southeast side, different parts of Edinburgh where there's flooding. So I want to be able to tackle those problems over the next 4 years. And I think we'll get most of them done. And I'll be ready to hand the keys over to the next person new leadership that's coming in 4 years from now in 2025. So if you're listening in and you're thinking about running for mayor of Edinburg, get ready, because about year 2, we're going to be looking for new leadership to hand this thing over to.
And what are you going to do once you're out of office?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to running my businesses and spending a lot of time with my family. I think that the political game, it takes a lot of quality of time away from your family, your loved ones, and I think I'm gonna go back and focus on them.
Orale. Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Richard Molina, Edinburg, Texas. Don't forget, this show was brought to you by the campaign to re-elect Richard Molina for Mayor Richard Molina for Mayor of Edinburg. And once again, there's an event going on. It's the campaign kickoff party happening Thursday night at Monster Car Wash here on University Drive. It's west of Edinburg. It's West Edinburg. Lots of great times that we've had there, man. They've got, and they call it a car wash because it's a car wash during the day, but it's a club at night. There's an area of the car wash that's a bar, and you go in there. They have live bands and all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to be awesome to be there. I'll be hosting it, and we'll be taking some footage and all that stuff as well. And once again, want to thank you, Mayor, for being here on our show. And we thank you for having the faith in our show to be able to, talk to the audiences and let them know about where you come from, the character you've built through growing up here in Edinburg and being in the military, law enforcement, and, of course, serving the public as mayor. So we wish you the best of luck. And we appreciate you coming here, bro.
Thank you, Rock. And I have the physical address for those of you that want to log it down. The address to Monster Car Wash is 2702 West University. 2702 West University. We will see you Thursday. Rock and I will be out there 6 p.m. Be there. We look forward to seeing the public. And what I'll be talking about is my 4-year plan for the city, and I'll be talking about what we've been able to accomplish over the last 4 years.
Also, you can follow him on social media. You've got a social media page, right?
Mayor Molina, Mayor Richard Molina, yes.
And I know we had some buffering going on the show, but we've got the footage of the video, so we'll be making clips, and because that's what we do for every candidate that comes through our show and talks to our audience. We make clips for them so they can use on social media as well, so they can, some of the finer points of the interview, okay? Yes. And so we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Mañana vamos a tener Tetera Tuesday, papá. So hopefully vamos a traer una big satellite, ponerla arriba de la building, y pues, hopefully we'll get this Wi-Fi thing taken care of here at Society 204. All right? You all have a good evening. And have a beautiful day tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Sústame, Guata. Puro Michael Salgado, papá. Sústame. Los dejamos con un video de Mayor Richard Molina, okay? Coming up right here to finish it off. Say goodbye to the crowd. Say goodbye to the camera. There you go. Look at the camera, bro. There you go.
Hello everyone, I'm Edinburg Mayor Richard Molina, and today I officially announced that I'm running for re-election this November. I wanted to come to you first because it's you who I serve. You put your trust in me 4 years ago when you elected me to be the mayor of our great city. Yeah. Today, I'm proud to say the promises I made to you in 2017 have been kept. All our council meetings are open to the public, and I want to see every seat filled in there. Today, it's about the people who have spoken and taken action about change. We needed a solid foundation to sustain the growth we wanted to see, so we went back to basics and focused on infrastructure. We paved streets, we widened roadways, we improved lighting, upgraded every park in Edinburg, and we built several new ones that are inclusive to all. We are tackling the decades-old drainage issues that have plagued our neighborhoods for years. And we're making sure our local businesses, the mom and pop stores, have the support they need to succeed. And while doing that, we also brought in dozens of new businesses and seen the development of many more subdivisions families now call home. Edinburg is the fastest growing city in the Rio Grande Valley because people see what you and I have always known. Edinburg is the best place to live, work, and invest. This is my home. I didn't run for office to become a politician. I ran for office to serve the city that I love. My life has been about service. First in the United States Army, then as an Edinburg police sergeant, then as a council member, and the last 4 years as your mayor. Important for us as a community to come together because it's about letting people know the legacy that these individuals have left behind. We've achieved too much to stop the progress now. I humbly ask for your support as I seek to serve one last term as your mayor. God bless everybody, and we will continue to be in touch. Thank you very much.